Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Very good, man. Very good.
It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this again. I know we had just talked recently for John Wick, and we did touch base on Fist of the Condor just a little bit during that interview. But I wanted to talk to you again as sort of a part two.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Excited. Thank you, man. Thanks for the support.
Absolutely. Again, welcome to the Action-FLIX podcast. I got to let you know that our first interview, along with the other interviews that we've done in the past, huge hit with the fans. Everybody, great response. Everybody loved hearing your stories about the behind the scenes stuff on John Wick. It was really priceless stuff, man. So I couldn't thank you enough.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let's talk Visit a Condor. So let's get a little bit more in depth on this one. Now that it hit digital a little while ago, and of course it's going to be coming out on Blu-ray. How has the response been? That you've been seeing since it's been out and people have been watching it.
It's been amazing. I'm so happy, because it's such a personal movie for me, and seeing the reviews and people loving the movie and I don't know, man. I'm so happy, I'm so happy, so looking forward to do the part two. It depends on you guys. If everything continue the way it goes, it's looking like we're gonna be doing continuing the story and maybe doing a comic book. We're doing some drawing tests for the comic, and yeah, man, I'm excited. I this is definitely a character I would love to develop, and a world I would love to develop and bring more talent from around the world and different martial artists and having different styles blend in the movie and iconic characters.
So let's talk about that. So let's talk about in the first movie, like those that you assembled for this movie and the types of styles. So give the fans, like, give somebody who hasn't seen the movie yet. Obviously, I've seen it, like a lot of people, but like who's involved and what styles you wanted to incorporate into this film.
Well, the Fist of the Condor was started from an honest expression of myself as a martial artist when I thought that the world is gonna end, and I'm like, okay, this is it. I need to at least do my last work from a very honest place. This is what I love to be, what I love about martial art films. This is my inspirations, and this is who I am as a human being, right?
Mhm.
So I grab all my notes I gave it to Ernesto, or my director, edit writer, and he developed this story around all these notes and around all this reference and inspiration, to kind of do like a love letter to the genre. So,
Yeah.
and then, so the movie basically, we needed to we kind of create this legend about the book of the Fist of the Condor. And I needed to kind of come up with the style and the way that the Fist of the Condor looks, you know, uh, based on the kung fu movies, but at the same time with the Latino flavor and with what I am as a martial artist. So then, I've done MMA, I've done, karate, taekwondo, acrobatics. So how you blend all this and how you make it converse, how you make them talk, right? So that's how I start, incorporating all these different movements. And of course, I started from the condor, so that's why the open hands and all that. And then I started incorporating the animal flow and the different, fighting techniques that we see today in an MMA fight, right? So how we mix all this and we bring something that is original and is honest of my journey. And then that's, for example, the best example is the wooden dummy, right? The
Yep.
wooden dummy in the Fist of the Condor is based and inspired on the wooden dummy of the Wing Chun that is a very close, all the blocks, here. But because of my fighting and MMA training and boxing,
There you are, right there. Yeah, that's what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. So you see these two high, they mimic like a high attack.
Yeah. Yep.
So to mimic like a hook, and so then I'm blocking a middle, the one in the middle. I'm blocking like a knee or like a straight leg in the stomach, and then
Right.
I can block up a hook the way you see the MMA guys block a hook. you know, you raise your elbow, you kind of like touch your ear with your hand, and then you raise your elbow and you're blocking like a high attack. So then, you know, it's little details like this. It would represent the Fist of the Condor with the music, with the scenarios, with the characters, with the wardrobe. It's like how we blend this and put it into our culture to make our kung fu movie, you see. So it was a nice challenge, man. It was very cool, very cool, and I'm happy that people appreciate it, and they could see that, you know. That's what I'm reading through the comments, and they appreciate that. They kind of saw, they can feel that it's just an honest project, you know, of two guys that are very passionate about the genre, and you know.
Now, we talked based just a little bit about it our last time when we were talking about it towards the end of our interview. So you mentioned, you know, you're thinking the world's going to end. Obviously, you're talking about the pandemic that was going on a few years ago. So tell us about going, like you had talked about going into nature, you know, and doing this movie. So talk about, like, you know, you guys is going in and this transpiring, you know, over the course of so many days.
Yeah, for me, it was a moment where I was just training and meditating every day without knowing what was going to happen.
Right.
So then I was seeing these beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrise, and you know, you know, every time I was running in the beach, you know, I was basically with nature, because there was no one there. There was no humans, because I was in a beach house of a friend, and the beach house were blocked because you could not be at your beach house. And because I didn't have a residence in Chile, I was just living there because I didn't have, I got stuck. I was living in the US. I went to Chile to visit my family, and I got stuck there. So I end up in this beach house, totally closed town. The town was kind of like only the locals live there, but it was more like these vacation towns that there were a lot of people in vacation. And then when there's no vacation, it's only the locals, very, very lonely, right?
Right.
So I was just training every day and meditating and kind of like seeing these beautiful scenarios. And I'm like, and I start feeling like in a movie, like in a real martial arts movie, epic. So I'm like running and imagining this music, and I'm like, man, we gotta do this.
The training montage, you know, you're
yes, exactly.
Every day, the training montage.
Every day, yeah, man. It's like, I wish I have a camera here and we can like start doing stuff. You know, it was crazy, and that's when I called Ernest and said, look. And then the shooting was kind of very similar because we needed to have a very small crew because of the same thing. The pandemic, it was illegal. You know, we were not. So we were in the woods shooting, and like in solitary beach. You know, like doing this movie. So it felt very like what you see, it's real, what was happening, that feeling, that how do you say that, when you contemplate those images, and that was real. That was the feel of what we're feeling during the movie, you know. And that's why the base of the film, it's very philosophical. It's very like, it makes you ask questions. It makes all the time, it's triggering you. It's inside, it's this voice that you're hearing all the time, and it's the journey, it's the process, you know.
Now talk about the cast and crew. Like, how did you assemble who was going to be in the movie? You know, as because you said, like, you know, nobody was doing any movies or anything at the time because, you know, you weren't allowed to. So how did you assemble?
Yeah, well, we kind of start calling, and it's like, man, I know this is crazy, but hear me out.
Just listen. I got.
Just listen. Yes. And everybody was like, I'm in. You know, like we called the people that we worked before from like our other movies, and they were all like hanging out. And I didn't never expect that these two crazy guys were going to be telling them to just make a movie. You know, and the first challenge was to make it to the set, because we needed to cross all these like sanitary controls, because we were shooting at the beach. So people are coming from the capital, and we were like, how we, you know. So it was a challenge everywhere, you know. It was like, but of course we didn't kind of like did something against the law, but we were trying to have a very reduced crew so we don't come into that illegal number, because we were not supposed to be so many people at the same time on the same place under a roof. So that's why it's a lot of locations outside. So we have to kind of like adapt the script like that, so we're not like literally end up in jail or something.
Well, it fit perfectly because being outside, because for the type of movie that it was, it wouldn't have made sense to have like a lot of indoor things going on. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. Well, so at the end, it's like, and then the casting, I was lucky to find Eyal Meyer, that is the main villain of the movie, because he's a drama actor. He works doing soap operas in Chile, but at the same time, he's a master in Kalari. And he teaches Kalari, and he has he represents Kalari in Chile, and he does seminars and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting fighting style to put in a movie. It's very non-common to see this style in a movie. And because of the Fist of the Condor and all that, it was perfect. So we needed to do some rehearsals to kind of like see how we can make this dance together, like if it's going to work or not in a fight scene. And it was a nice process, man. It was a very cool process.
Now, you had mentioned the animal styles, and in watching it, like, I'm an old school martial arts fanatic. I've trained for many years. I've watched it for many years. That's why, like all you guys, like I gravitated towards. That's what drew me to this, was like it was giving off that, and I think I might have mentioned this last time we talked, that Saturday afternoon watching it on the TV kung fu theater vibe, and it was the animal styles that really cinched it, because that's what you saw, from these old Golden Harvest movies, and stuff like that, was like, Eagle Claw, Tiger Claw, and it was like that's where it really drilled it home. And in my review, I called it, retro martial arts meets new age vibe. That's the best way I could, that's the best way I describe it to people. Like if they're like, what is going on here? What is this about? That's how I describe it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a mix. Like a mix.
Yeah, because at the end you have the animal styles, but you don't have the animal styles traditionally shown in the kung fu movies. It's a different kind of way. So yeah, man, it was a big challenge, but I'm happy that people pick it up and were able to appreciate it and enjoy it.
Now talk about the fight scenes, because obviously, and the biggest compliment I can give is like, and I gave this to you when I was, talking about John Wick, was each action sequence could have been the finale. You know what I'm saying? Like even the first action sequence that hits, it's like that could have been the ending, or that could be that. It contains like 4 or 5 endings that like most movies would love to have. That's what I got from Fist of the Condor too. Now, obviously, you didn't have budget like you did with John Wick, but each fight scene was. It could have been the finale. It could have been. That's how good they were. So talk about your thought process going in, on developing the fight sequences, because that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, well, for me, it was a good conversation with Ernesto, and in this time having a very, very good coordination with him, because he's a very good filmmaker, and he always wanted on this to push it a little harder in terms of telling a story while we're fighting, making sure we're engaging with the characters. So every fight scene that you see in the Fist of the Condor, there's something going on besides the fight scene. There's a story that is being revealed through the fight scene. And I think right there, it puts another layer to what choreography we're doing, because it's also dictating the rhythm, the vulnerability of each character. And all that is being shown, through this small story in the fight scene. To kind of understand, make audience understand why this guy is beating this other guy. Okay, why now this technique is working if before was not working? I don't know, it's an example, right? So instead of just adding cool moves, how long you can see cool moves today? You put YouTube and you just see a bunch of cool moves, right? But now how you make it interesting, how you make people engage with these moves. So you kind of need to have a story for each of these moves. And this is what I believe Fist of the Condor was able to accomplish, you know, thanks to Ernesto, and that we had the time to prep, because the same thing with COVID, we were not able to shoot the whole movie. So we shot 1 week and then we stopped. So then we prep, and then we shot another week and then we stopped. And then we prep because we didn't know when it was going to be open again, when we were going to be able to shoot again because of the quarantines and the lockdowns and blah blah blah.
Right.
So it was a very meditative process of analyzing, and we needed to be so precise of what we need, because we didn't have the budget to just try things on set. So we needed to arrive very prepared, you know.
So like, and again, like the fight sequences, like I love like, because obviously fans expect something out of you, like when you're doing your fight scenes. Obviously you got the extreme moves, you got the you know, like the acrobatic moves, you know, and stuff like that, which you do give fans that. But then this, I thought this showed you in a newer light in terms of the fighting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yes,
newer what?
In a newer light, like yes, we see Marko Zaror doing stuff that he's known for, like some of your signature stuff that you've done like in the past, like in your other movies, but it's a representation of something newer that fans haven't seen from you before in terms of your fighting style.
Oh yeah. I think that's the incorporation of my few last years of training, where I incorporate the animal mobility and my athletic training, like the way that I train, you know, my explosive training and all that. I think you can see it on the TV, you know. You can see that training, you know.
Right, absolutely. Now you have a very unusual role here, you know, because you actually play dual role, you know. So talk about that, you know, where you play twins, you know. So like, you know, obviously like people will be like, hey, it's like Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme where he plays twins, you know. So it's got that kind of thing going for it too. So talk about having to do one and then the other in terms of acting style.
Yeah, acting is fun. It's always fun because we you know, we go through personalities. Everybody does, you know. So it's kind of like recognizing that personalities and those moments and kind of make them live separately, even though they're both inside of you, you see.
Right.
So it's fun. It's of course a fun thing. I would want to explore more. We did it a little bit, but of course I'm looking forward to do that fight scene, and that's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I promise you, I'm gonna work hard for that one to really make something cool, you know.
So obviously, you know, talking about, you know, furthering the adventures of this story, and you're even talking about a comic book representation of it. Where like, you know, obviously, you know, there's people who haven't seen the movie. So where would you like to see it go from where, you know, the initial movie ends up? What would you like to see done for a part two?
I would love to. I would love to do part two, and maybe during the pre-production, or by the time that the part two comes out, maybe bring a little bit of background and a little of side story with a comic book. That I would love that, and then you know, to kind of engage more and kind of to understand in this part two the story of these two brothers, and then who's gonna be the warrior of the Fist of the Condor, of these two brothers, who's finally the warrior. And then from there, once we have our warrior, then the stories are limitless.
So you're talking about, like, you know, so in terms of the plot, you're talking about having one of them emerge as the true Fist of the Condor, and then the story takes off.
And then we, you know, we're gonna have the whole world after this book. So then it's going to be a lot of fun adventures, you know.
Now, obviously, like now, if you were to do a part two, now you wouldn't be as limited in doing it like you were the first time. So obviously, you would want to broaden the scope, you know, go bigger, you know. So talk about in terms of the fighting, like what would you see done differently now that you would be able to probably have like a little bit more budget, maybe, you know, as opposed to what you were limited to in the first one.
Well, no, but in the first one, we were able to accomplish. I'm happy with the fights. I will.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and what I will love to do is to bring talent, like to bring, maybe have some budget to bring like
different.
Very good martial artists to bring more flavor from different cultures, you know, to the story, you know, and maybe it's different language. Like we did the Fist of the Condor, we have the Korean master, and then we have a Kalari, the HI-YAH bringing the Kalari that is from India. Maybe you know, explore more into that, you know, like start bringing, you know, different characters cool from different cultures, or bring different styles, and you can create some cool fights and cool interactions, you know.
Cool. Now, let me ask you this question. I kind of like to ask this question, like when I'm talking to like you guys that are known for like doing action movies and doing fighting. Like out of like people that you've taken on in films, who do you think is like? I think I might know the answer, but first part question is who have you fought already? What do you think is your best on-screen fight that you've done in your movies?
My best what?
On-screen fight, your best on-screen fight in a movie that you've done thus far, and with whom, with which actor?
That I've done or I've seen?
Yes, that you've done. Yes.
Oh yeah, well I will say that's Scott Adkins in Undisputed.
Yeah. See, I knew that was going to be the
answer. Yeah, because you know what, I will, you know, HI-YAH fight, it's pretty good. Like the fight with the Fist of the Condor final fight.
Absolutely.
I do believe that it's up there. It's just, you know, it's like I don't know. It's tough because that fight, man, with Scott is pretty good, man. And you know, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But I think that fight for me, it's kind of like, you know, up there for sure.
Absolutely. Now, who out of everybody that you know in terms of in the industry, who would you like to take on in a movie? You know, who would you like to take on? Like, who would you like to see yourself next, maybe wanting to take on in terms of an on-screen fight in a future movie? Good question.
Today is a good question because today, as a martial artist, as an actor and experience and being in a movie with, I would love to do a movie with The Rock and engage with him in an action scene, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. That works.
You know, I would love that. You know, he's a very cool guy, and that would be fun. But if you ask me as a martial arts kind of like who I would like to engage in a martial arts kind of scene,
it could have been anybody, yeah, but that's fine too. Yeah, The Rock's fine, and then give us your martial arts actor like that you would want to, you know, throw down with in a movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say Jackie Chan though.
No, okay. Yeah. Go big or go home. There you go.
Yeah. I'll say Jackie Chan. That, you know, that would be cool, man.
Absolutely.
You know, I grow watching, like one of my favorite movies is Armor of God, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, the movie he almost killed himself making, you know,
yeah.
that's a classic. Yeah.
I don't know, it's just to see his rhythm and you know, his process, and you know, he's so creative, you know. Right. So I would love to kind of be involved in that, you know, see how he puts together everything, you know.
And that would be cool because like you would have like he's known for like, you know, like his like rambunctious like his out over the top choreography, and I can see you getting in touch with your comedic side, you know, yeah. Because like obviously he's known for that too, and you've done some you know, in your films and stuff like that. But like, you know, like to do a full-blown Jackie Chan movie, like in terms of the comedic aspect, you know, and like props and stuff like that. That I could see you, you know, and then doing the intricate stuff, like we were talking about, like the elbows, locks, the grabs, throws, and stuff like that. But then at the same time, doing the extreme stuff, like the aerial kicks and then stuff like that, you know, and even have a play on size difference. So because I'm sure you're a little bit taller than
that would be fun. Yeah, no, yeah, that would be fun, man.
Now let's now real quick, because I only have you for a few more minutes here, and again, I can't thank you enough for talking to me again. Now in terms of the beginning of your career to where you are now, what do you take away the most, you know, from Marko Zaror as an up and coming, you know, martial arts actor / you know, stuntman, whatever the case may be, to where you are now? What do you take from your many years of what you've been doing. Like when you sit at home at night, okay, and you're reflecting. Say you're reflecting on your career. What is the one thing that comes to your mind?
Just, to stay honest and enjoy.
Right, but like in terms of your career, like what? Okay, let me rephrase. Like, what do you think has been, besides Scott Adkins and Undisputed? Like, what movie that you've done personally do you think has been, besides Fist of the Condor and obviously Undisputed 3? Like, that do you feel that like is some of your best work that you've done? You've got so many. You got Killjoy, you got Mandrill, you got The Redeemer, which I love Redeemer. That's what I've told you that before. That was one of my personal favorites.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard question because every movie is such an important piece of the whole puzzle.
You love them all for different reasons. I get it.
But
if somebody said, "Hey, Marko, you gotta
don't forget all the, like, for me, one of the most important moments is when I work with Robert Rodriguez.
Okay, yes, TV shows. Yes, I guess
that was a big thing for me because
yes, it was, and you were the best part of that. Actually, that your character was badass.
I love that character, man. Yes. I love that character. It was so sad when they said that there was not a fourth season because I knew that maybe my character is going to be able to grow and develop. I love that character, and working with Robert, it was always such a inspiration to see him work, and I can't wait to do something with him again. He's kind of part of what inspired us to just do it and do our low budget movies in Chile. And I do believe that because of these low budget movies, my career was made because of those little movies, and that
Absolutely.
kind of getting out there and do it, so that's why I always, what I take back, if you ask me, if you're meditating, whatever, no matter how many big movies I do, I think I will always have this feel or need to continue doing these little projects that are like an honest expression of who I am in that moment in my life. Like what Fist of the Condor means for me in that moment. End of the world, me rethinking everything, the need of expressing myself in front of the collapse of the human
civilization. Yeah,
civilization.
You didn't know. Yeah, exactly. And that comes across on screen how passionate you were about it, you and Ernesto, because you didn't know what was going to happen the next day, and it really comes across in this movie, like what went into the making of this.
Yeah, so my take is like, no matter what happened with me, if life allows me, I'm gonna always gravitate to do one of these movies once in a while to kind of like do something that is like 100% very honest,
right,
where I am right in that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. So real quick before I let you go, I'm just gonna share this for everybody that's gonna be watching on YouTube. There it is, Fist of the Condor. That's the Blu-ray cover for it coming up. It was a HI-YAH original, of course, and it's streaming now on HI-YAH, but we all know that it's going to be coming to Blu-ray and DVD on May 23rd. So I'm really happy for you, man. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for like how sincere and honest and opening you've been towards us guys, with the action websites, because obviously, you got the big websites and the big boys and everything, but you taking the time, not once, but twice in the span of maybe a month and a half, I can't really tell you how much that means to me.
I appreciate it, man. And, thanks for the support at the end. You guys are the one that makes these movies possible. Like, these small movies are made for you guys, and thanks for supporting, and hope people can go get the DVD, and there's going to be some behind scenes and special stuff, and
yes,
so then we can continue the story and we can continue having fun, because we rely on this. We're not in the box office where we make our business in the first 2 weeks. These movies, they make their profit, and they make their money in this Blu-ray, DVD, streaming. So it's important for distributors and for us to feel that support, so then people know, oh, there's an interest. We should make more of this, you know.
Right.
And that's why it's important. I really appreciate the time and this space to communicate, you know.
Yeah, and I can't, just to end real quick, I can't emphasize enough how I try to reach out, how pirating hurts the industry, and for you guys to continue doing what you do and continue to entertain us, we in turn have to support and, allow you to do so. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, man. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I can't wait for the future, whatever projects you have coming on in the future. I want to talk to you for each and every one of them, pick your brain, because I love to pick your brain and really get in deep with what you're thinking and everything. So congratulations on your past success, your current success, and your future success. And I can't wait to talk to you again, Marko.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Enjoy the week and enjoy the release of the movie on Blu-ray. And enjoy John Wick Chapter 4 is coming on digital pretty soon. And it's going to be hitting Blu-ray too. So everybody's going to be able to watch you on their big screens at home too. So that's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, Marko, and have a wonderful day. Okay.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Take it easy.